In the heart of ancient Rome, where marble streets echoed with pride, rose a man named Cassian, a senator of great ambition. He believed in order through power, and feared the slow decay of the republic. As voices grew divided, his vision became clear: restore Rome through strength and unity, no matter the cost. His words inspired fear and loyalty alike, for the people hungered for purpose amid the chaos of politics and forgotten duty. Cassian walked through the forum each morning, absorbing the whispering crowd, their hopes and fears pulsing like blood through the city veins above them. Statues watched, silent witnesses. To rising storms he met with allies, daily planting seeds of change, discussing laws reforms, and when to strike against those who sold the republic for coin. His eyes burned with belief and something darker. In the shadows of temples and taverns, rumors grew of a silent movement: senators missing votes, consuls whispering behind closed doors, and tribunes backing out of speeches. Once proudly written, Cassian smiled to himself. Every silence was progress, every retreat of an opponent a victory in disguise. He knew the art of pressure and persuasion, of quiet threats woven in silk. But power breeds watchers, and one such watcher was Decian, a young historian who once admired Cassian, but now kept scrolls of his meetings, followers, and messages. He saw a pattern rising, a quiet storm that could turn into fire. He feared that Cassian aimed not to save the republic, but to crown himself in its ashes, and he vowed to warn those still loyal to law. As weeks turned months, Cassian grew bold, calling assemblies, preaching of renewal and strength. Citizens cheered, and soldiers listened, as if hearing the voice of Rome itself. Old guards frowned, but their voices were drowned in cheers and gold. The Senate debated endlessly, while Cassian built loyalty in silence, commanding men who waited only for his word to march. Decian traveled beyond the city seeking allies. He visited generals in distant provinces, senators in exile, and even merchants who remembered a freer Rome. He told them of Cassian plans, and the silence that followed his name in Senate halls. Many refused to believe, some feared him too deeply. Yet a few offered support letters where written guards were placed. Meanwhile, in Rome, Cassian revealed his plan: a grand ceremony at the Capitol, to declare a new council of Rome chosen by merit, not blood or gold, to restore honor, he said with raised arms, while thousands roared below. He promised grain and glory, law and unity. But hidden in his words were chains masked, as structure loyalty demanded above all else. Decian returned in time to see the Capitol being draped in banners. Soldiers lined streets, dressed not as city watch, but as legionaries, as if Rome stood ready for war. He knew then that this was no reform, it was a seizure, a coronation veiled in speeches. He slipped into the crowd, holding the final scroll that might sway the day. On the platform Cassian spoke his voice like thunder, a storm of passion echoing over the hills. He promised rebirth, salvation from division and betrayal. And thousands chanted his name. The Senate sat behind him, silent, caught between fear and fate. No vote had passed this, but none dared to rise until one voice rang out clear from the edge. Decian stepped forward, scroll in hand. He read of letters, orders sent in secret, names listed that vanished, lands promised for loyalty and justice bent. For ambition, the crowd fell silent. The banners swayed gently in the wind. Cassian eyes narrowed as Decian words pierced the veil he had woven. The city held its breath between a dream and a lie. Cassian answered with calm, declaring the scroll false, the historian mad with envy and fear. Yet doubt now danced through the crowd faces, once firm now flickered uncertainty. A ripple of mistrust rolled through the Senate, until a senator stood, then another, and another, calling for the vote that had never come. The ceremony now turned into a trial. The people began to shout, half in anger, half in hope. The guards looked to Cassian, but he gave no order. He stood alone upon marble where he had dreamed of triumph, and watched it all unravel. Truth had stolen his moment before the sword ever could, and so he turned without a word and walked away down the steps into silence. Rome awoke the next morning, changed the banners, removed the guards, dismissed the Senate, reassembled not in fear, but in purpose. Decian was praised, but declined power, choosing instead to return to his scrolls. While Cassian remained a name, both revered and feared, a reminder that even in Rome no ambition was too great to escape judgment. Rome awoke the next morning, changed the banners, removed the guards, dismissed the Senate, reassembled not in fear, but in purpose. Decian was praised, but declined power, choosing instead to return to his scrolls. While Cassian remained a name, both revered and feared, a reminder that even in Rome no ambition was too great to escape judgment. Years passed and statues crumbled, but the tale of that day lived on, a tale of a man who believed himself savior, yet nearly became a tyrant, and of another who wielded no sword. But truth, the capital still bore the echoes of their voices, carried in wind through the columns, whispering that Rome is not built by might alone. New leaders rose and fell, yet that parchment Decian reed was kept beneath the Senate in a sealed vault as proof that a voice with courage may shape fate more than armies. Could it became tradition for each consul to read it before taking office, a reminder that duty must stand above ambition, and power serves Rome, not itself. And so the story endures not just in stone or speech, but in Rome's soul, where each citizen remembers the day one scroll held more weight than 10,000 spears, the day a dream of order was challenged by the truth of freedom. And though Cassian vanished into history, His shadow remained cast not by glory, but by the price of unchecked will